Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, I'm going to cover game 11 of a First Book of Morphy. We are still in opening rule number 5, focusing on making as few pawn moves as possible for ourselves and noticing that in our opponent and taking advantage if he does make a lot of pawn moves. So today's game is in New Orleans, 1858. This time, Paul Morphy with the white pieces is playing knight odds. So there is no knight on b1. Black is Charles Morian, and starts off with the Muzio Gambit. So let's go ahead and go through the game, and then I'll go through some of the notes here from the book. So we have e4, e5, f4. Now let me check here and take off some of the annotations. Okay. So f4, e captures f4, knight f3, g5, and bishop c4. Here says black's f4 pawn keeps the f file shielded from white's king rook after white castles, and the f4 pawn also restrains white's queenside pieces. Black should therefore keep the f4 g5 formation together with bishop g7, which anticipates h4 and prepares h6, h5, h captures g5, h captures g5, rook h8, bishop h8. So with bishop e7, again h4, h6, and then we take, and then rook takes, and then bishop takes, right? So here's what it's recommending. However, that was not played in the game. So we have g4. Here it says white's initiative becomes fearsome after this. Okay, so d4. And again, remember, white is already down a piece. Okay, keep that in mind. G captures f3. Queen captures f3. d5. This is a good pawn move because it frees black's queenside pieces. Okay, so this here it says that this is good. Bishop can go to maybe these squares, right? e6, or if it has support from knight f6 first, and then it could go to bishop g4, right? So next we have bishop captures d5, and then c6. Here it says about c6, this is not a good pawn move. Black should develop with a threat to exchange pieces by knight f6. When the head material exchanges as many pieces as possible, especially the queens, in order to reduce counterplay. So the mentality for the thought process for black should be, I'm up a piece, I'm going to develop my pieces and trade off pieces already, right? If I can, I want to trade off the queen. So knight f6 with bishop g6 attacking the queen, and then trying to exchange pieces. However, c6 was played. So we have bishop captures f7. Again, a sacrifice from white, already down a piece. King captures f7, queen h5 check. Black could develop with threats in case of queen f4 or queen f6. Okay. So, in case of queen f4, queen h5. Okay, so instead, again, if black takes on f4, then black develops with queen f6 and is already gonna trade off queens, right? Is already developed with a queen out and is now wanting to trade queens. So let's go ahead and continue. So now we have bishop f4. If bishop takes f4, here it says queen h4 with the check, and already again black will try to find a way to exchange pieces. So queen h5 check, king g7, bishop captures f4, bishop e7, and here it notes perhaps it's too late for the threatening knight f6 because of bishop h6, king g8, and queen g5. Okay, so he's saying that it's too late for knight f6 because of bishop h6 check, king g8, and then queen g5 with a check. Right. So bishop e7. Perhaps it's let's go ahead and continue. Castles, and here black plays queen captures d4 check, king h1, queen captures e4 with rook a to e1. And now here in this position, we can see white's pieces are active here. The bishop is, well, the rook is less active here, but they're all pointing here towards the king side, right? So meanwhile, black's pieces are still not developed in the bank rank, so he's not even using. He's like right now it's 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 2, right? So it's 4 versus 2. So then we have queen g6. Black is 3 minor pieces ahead, but while making e7 pawn moves and 3 queen moves, he left 5 of his pieces sleeping on the back rank, right? So this is what we're talking about. So now we have rook captures e7, rubbing out half of black's development with a bang. If knight e7, okay, so if knight e7, then bishop h6, queen captures h6, queen f7 is checkmate. Okay. So we have king f8. Again, if knight captures, I think we covered this already. So bishop d6, knight f6. If queen f6, then queen e8 is checkmate. So knight f6. And then here at this point, it says that after bishop d6, that black resigned. So that we're going to do a recap of the game from the beginning, and then I'll add the annotations here from the computer analysis. So again, white is starting off without a knight, so he's -4. The evaluation cost is -4 for black. Again, right off the bat, what do you notice? Just too many pawn moves for black. And again, if you are starting off with an extra piece, the moves here don't align with the overall strategy, right? Which is, hey, I'm up a piece. I'm gonna look to play solid and just trade off, exchange pieces, exchange queens if possible, to avoid counterattacks, to avoid counterplay, and then I'll win with an extra piece in the endgame. And this doesn't align with that overall strategy of knowing that you're up a piece. Okay, here it does mention that this is an inaccuracy. Okay, we're just going to focus on mistakes and blunders. So queen captures d4 is a blunder by black. So now it's saying that white is plus 1.2. So black is already white already has an advantage here. So here the best move, the computer wants to play h6 and then taking on a d4. So h6, and this is a line here from the computer. However, these moves make sense. This one, h6, maybe taking away the square, and then the king has this square. So now when you take on d4, you avoid any checks on these two, on g5 and g6. Now if we continue down this line, bishop c7, that could be like a trick, right? It could seem like a strange move. That seemed like a natural move, attacking the queen. And that is a possible line here. So we're going to go ahead and continue with what happened in the game. This is another blunder by black. Knight d7 was the best move. Again, developing pieces. Bishop b3. Okay, we're going to go ahead and continue. So in this position, white is 3 plus 8. So white has a great advantage. Queen g6 is the last blunder by black. Here it says checkmate is now unavoidable. Queen captures e1 was the best. So even here, black could have captured the rook. And then here, if we go ahead and continue, here the position is +3 for white. And after this, the game is pretty much over. Here it says, after this move, it says mate in 6. The computer says mate in 6 for white. So that was it for this short game. Again, you saw how valuable it is developing your pieces and launching an attack, and even sacrificing pieces to expose the king and finishing off, developing with threats and gaining tempo, and then finishing off with a quick attack. And that's when your opponent plays too many pawn moves. So again, leave a comment below what you thought of this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.